So Susanna will be over there. So she's
Hey, sir. Oh, you got some cool. One Coke, two Porsche. Nice.
Right, Steve so on social.
Hello, 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 hello. Hey, hello. How'd you turn it on?
Would you like to take a seat, please? Charge your glasses for some of that delicious fizzy water. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Susanna Lipscomb, and I want to wish you a very warm welcome to the Innovate UK KTP Knowledge Transfer Partnership Awards 2025. We're going to have fun. This year marks a truly remarkable milestone. 50 years of knowledge transfer partnerships. That's 5 decades of innovation, collaboration, and impact across the UK. You can clap now. And today we're celebrating the outstanding KTPs that have driven change, created opportunities, and delivered tangible results over the past 12 months. Each partnership tells a unique story, a brilliant graduate, a forward-thinking business, a knowledge-based sharing expertise to solve real-world challenges. Every award tonight recognizes the dedication, the creativity, and the vision needed to make these partnerships transformative. And as befits a 50th anniversary, our opening speech will be delivered by Baroness Susan Greenfield, CBE, a distinguished neuroscientist, author, and broadcaster. Baroness Greenfield has made groundbreaking contributions to our understanding of the brain and the ways in which technology and society shape human behavior. Her work spans research, writing, and public engagement, and she is renowned for translating complex neuroscience into insights that inspire both policy and the public. Baroness Susan Greenfield.
Well, I know I should say good afternoon, but it already feels like a party, so it feels like I should say good evening. Susanna, thank you for that introduction. And what a joy. It's a real celebration. I feel already in the party mood because we're really celebrating something really special, 50 years. And we're doing so in the spiritual home of the KTPs. This is where the first 2 KTPs took place in Greater Manchester, in Salford and Manchester. And it's a real honor to join you in this celebration. By coincidence, the 50 years is actually how long I've been at the bench myself. Well, not so much at the bench, but doing science. Initially at the university and then spinning out my own company in 2013. So I'm aware of the thrills and spills of both the private and the public sector and the challenges that both present, and therefore the huge power in having a synergy between the two. If you think about it, so much has changed over the last 50 years. Certainly in the science climate, in the science world, when I first started, we didn't really know about biotechs and startups and spin-outs. They were funny, I didn't know what they were, they didn't exist. But now, it's sort of part of everyday language. And sadly, part of our everyday world now is also the uncertainty and the insecurity of our current times, and of actually striving to be innovative in a time when people can be very risk-averse. But throughout these 50 years, throughout the changing environment, the KTPs have been a consistent and positive feature, promoting the essence of good science. It's the longest continually running business support program in the UK. It's unique in linking businesses and knowledge bases. And at the heart of it are, of course, partnerships, making the link between businesses and knowledge bases to create a KTP project that has both, and how Innovate UK Business Council can deliver the KTP in a true partnership. The KTP programme helps businesses in the UK not only to innovate, but also to grow. And we were talking earlier about how important this was. It's all very well to have a bright idea, as you might at university, but then you need somehow to make that transition from the idea to the reality. Someone said once, between the idea and the reality falls the shadow, but we need to actually bridge that, and that's what the KTPs do. They're a collaboration between forward-thinking UK businesses and organizations, academics, and associates to make organizations way more productive, more competitive, more profitable. The KTPs are specific and strategic with commercial focus, and they draw on new skills and the latest research. For every pound of public and private investment, the KTP programme has generated a return of £4.20 to £5.50 in net economic benefits. And throughout the 50 years of the programme, that's since 1975, KTPs have supported over 14,000 projects and contributed billions to the economy of this country. From 2010 to 2020 alone, Innovate UK has invested £200 million in 2,000 projects, adding £2.3 billion to the UK economy. Just think about that, what an enormous achievement that is. And the other issue that people often overlook is the geographical distribution. All too often we hear about everything being London-based, everything being in the southeast, but the projects here are well distributed across the UK, and 75% of the businesses, 68% of the partnerships are actually outside of London and the greater southeast, and I think that's something really to celebrate. One can look at the two most recent KTP award winners. In 2024, it was a partnership between Manchester Metropolitan University and I Want Plants, and their achievement was to be recognised for an outstanding innovation in biophilic design and sustainable urban greening. Their collaboration delivered measurable business growth and environmental impact, showcasing how academic expertise can transform commercial practice. Then in 2023, the Best KTP Award winner was a partnership between Aston University and Mechatherm International, and their achievement was a more intelligent design process for furnaces and ancillary equipment used in the global aluminium industry. They also won the Best KTP Support Team, recognized for the high quality of their KTPs and for having the top performance in informal league tables. So these winners exemplify the transformative power of KTPs, combining academic insight with business ambition to deliver real-world impact. And we were talking earlier about how important that is. No one person can be everything. And to have the ability to have a really innovative idea, but also the ambition and the entrepreneurial know-how to really get the most out of it so it can really deliver, that is quite an achievement. And that can be done only really with people working together in this kind of environment. Susanna, I'm sure you know about Francis Bacon. I don't know however many other people do, but I thought I'd add, because of you, I thought I'd add about Francis Bacon, who lived from 1561 to 1626. And why am I mentioning him? He's been called the father of empiricism. And if you like, he was one of the very first scientists ever. And he said experiments should either be shedding light or bearing fruit, lucifera or fructifera. And I think that sums up the tension that previously we've experienced between shedding light, bearing fruit, having insights into things, but then on the other hand being productive. And I always felt that these two things, shedding light, bearing fruit, shouldn't be mutually exclusive. And the KTP, it proves that they needn't be and they shouldn't be. Over the last 50 years, the KTP has evolved. I was asking people, what's your feeling about this? Why are we celebrating? What would be, if you like, the take-home message? And they say it's responding to new challenges, new industries, adapting, moving with the times. So it's as relevant now. The KTP partnerships are as relevant now as they were 50 years ago. Think back, I think I'm probably one of the very few people who is over 50. Looking around everyone looks so amazingly young. And I'm certainly perhaps one of the few people who've been working for the last 50 years, as I said, in science. And I reflect on, over my time, what has remained of relevance from when I was young and when I started science. And it's very hard to think of what could be relevant. So I think everyone deserves here a huge applause, huge congratulations, because what you're doing was relevant 50 years ago, and it's every bit as relevant today. And when you're here, and perhaps I'm playing my harp in heaven in 50 years' time, it will still be even more relevant then. Thank you so much, and many congratulations.
Thank you to Baroness Susan Greenfield for that. I would now like to invite to the stage Dr. Ian Brotherston, Deputy Director of Innovation Funding Products at Innovate UK. Dr. Brotherston was the KTP Programme Manager for 7 years between 2015 and 2022, and now leads on the development and delivery of funding that supports innovative businesses across the UK.
Good evening, everyone. I'm definitely going with evening, so I think it's so dark in here with these windows closed. So I'd like to thank Baroness Greenfield for that wonderful speech. And just want to reflect on a couple of things that Baroness Susan Greenfield just said. Firstly, I wasn't expecting to hear Francis Bacon quoted, and certainly not in the Latin. So that was, I think, a lovely touch, thinking about that light and the fruit. And also how much has changed in 50 years. And it is incredible to think, all of us here have got mobile phones in our pockets, which I'm not even sure anyone who even dreamt of them 50 years ago. So I think that amount of change over 50 years is quite incredible. So I'd like to start by talking about my history with KTP. And I first came across KTP when I was actually at Heriot University, where I was working in the Technology Transfer Office. And it was immediately obvious to me how important KTP was in linking industry and academia, and more importantly, embedding that knowledge. Now, it was immediately obvious to me how successful the programme was by the high esteem it was held in. And I worked with colleagues in the East of Scotland KTP Centre, so I don't know if everyone's in from the East of Scotland KTP Centre, there's certainly people from the East of Scotland in the room. I worked with the West of Scotland KTP Centre, because obviously I was based in Scotland, in Edinburgh. And I also, through that, worked across what was then the Oral Network, where I was company secretary, and got to know a lot of the people in this room through wider knowledge transfer pieces. When I left Heriot University, I was lucky enough to become the KTP Programme Manager. And I was KTP Programme Manager from 2015 to 2017, so for 2.5 years. And one of the things I want to do here right now is thank my predecessors, of which I'm not sure any of my predecessors as KTP Programme Manager or Director are in the room, unfortunately. Certainly Claire Lindsay and Debbie Buckley-Goldie send their apologies. But I'd also like to thank my successor, Richard Lamb, for picking up the baton so successfully and delivering the programme as it stands today. One of the reasons I'm up here on stage is that a year or so ago, in yet another internal sort of like rearrangement in Innovate UK, KTP came back into my portfolio. I have a wider portfolio of funding products, but I was absolutely delighted that KTP was directly back in my portfolio because I retained an enormous soft spot for what it delivers for everyone involved. Now, one of the things that, of course, has made KTP last 50 years is it has evolved, and it's evolved many times. We were discussing earlier with Fiona Nightingale in the room about at the early days of KTP, of course, it was a handful of KTPs, but projects with many associates only with large companies. And that stayed the case for a number of years until a huge pivot, I think in the mid to late 80s, where the pivot was towards SMEs and smaller projects. And I think that both ability to adapt and that agility is one of the reasons KTP has remained so successful. And one of the things that, of course, has kept it successful is the absolute kernel that the business with that a need for the knowledge base with that specialist knowledge, and the associate, glued together by the knowledge transfer advisor, has remained absolutely unchanged throughout those 50 years, even if the policy spaces it works within have evolved. Now, I've seen KTP from not quite all perspectives, because I haven't obviously been an associate, but I have worked with companies who have had KTPs, and clearly from the university and now from the funding side. And it gives you a fantastic perspective of what is involved. Now, we're here obviously today for the KTP Awards. And the awards are celebrating the projects. And of course, the projects we mainly are thinking about here, the business, the associate, the academic side. But I'd also like to add that the value of the partnerships and the value of delivery is a lot wider than that. So I would also like to take this chance to thank all those other knowledge-based staff, many of which are in this room today, who are absolutely vital in making sure that those partnerships are catalysed and come together, let alone evolve and delivered. I'd like to personally thank the knowledge transfer advisors who do a fantastic job, and certainly in my time as KTP Programme Manager gave me enormous support, and their knowledge is absolutely amazing. Not just how they support the partnerships, excuse me, but also how they support those of us who are delivering the programme. I'd also like to thank some of the Innovate UK staff, who I'm very pleased to let you know, many of them are here today, who work tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure that the programme works and we can get through the clunky processes and the gears don't grind. So many thanks to all of those people. Most of those people also, I'd like to thank, have also been involved for multiple years. I hate to think almost how many people in this room have worked for 20 plus years on KTP. The accumulated knowledge in here in terms of man years must be astronomical. And again, no other programme has that, and one of the reasons it can evolve and survive and adapt is because of that enormous knowledge that you all bring. I do also want to talk a little about the associates. One of the things that I didn't fully appreciate until I became KTP Programme Manager was the amazing training that the associates get and what a difference that makes to those associates, the delivery of their programme and the advancement to their career. I went through the re-tender process and it's been with Ashton Hill at least since I was in the role. And I recently visited Ashton Hill to visit the newest cohort of associates going through. And part of that experience was giving them a chance to ask me questions. They asked me a number of questions, and I obviously won't go through all of them, but the one that stuck with me was one of them said to me, "What's your favourite KTP of all time?" Now, as you all know, I'm not particularly close to the individual KTPs, but I have been to a number of LMCs with knowledge transfer advisors in the past. Some projects know better than others, been involved in the awards. But I think everyone in the room would not have a favourite KTP. They have lots of KTPs they absolutely massively admired, that they loved, but picking one favourite, and I just had to say to the associate, we had 14,000 plus projects. I'm only aware of probably 0.01% of them in any way, shape or form, and I won't be able to pick a favourite from those. One of the things that, of course, is so important for KTP and keeping it relevant is its impact. And we've got the economic evaluations, and Baron Susan Greenfield just mentioned some of those, and most of you would have seen those publications. And that catches raw econometrics and raw data. But something that I think we all know and love in this room is how much KTP has changed lives. Very obviously changed the lives of many, many, many associates, but it's changed the lives of probably everyone in this room, whether it's their job working on them, whether it's in the business, whatever the association. And again, we were noting earlier, the passion for KTP is just enormous across those of you in this room, and many hundreds, if not thousands, beyond. When I was here at university, it never ceased to surprise me, and also within Innovate UK, how many ex-TCS or KTP associates I have worked with. Certainly I was here at what university, one of the great champions, started his career as an associate and was the Dean of Science and Engineering. Within Innovate UK, I can probably name 5, 6, maybe even more than that, ex-KTP associates. And the passion everyone has, it really gets in their soul. It also changes the businesses. Obviously, it changes the businesses for the better, but it changes the way they work, how they view innovation, how they're going to go around innovating, which is so, so, so important. So I'm going to start drawing to a close, and I think you're going to hear this a number of times, sort of like today and over the next couple of days. But it is a critical time for the UK. We do have a growth issue in the UK. It's a critical time for programmes like KTP to continue to deliver, step up even, and move forward. And we got to deliver government policy. That's where we all work. But not just KTP, but the collaboration between knowledge bases and businesses needs to be continue and grow to be a vital part of delivering the growth agenda, which Innovate UK is so wrapped up into. So KTP is 50 years old. I think we all might have noticed that by now. But it remains absolutely vital to what Innovate UK and UK government via UKRI are trying to deliver. We need to remain agile and flexible, but we've shown over 50 years that we are agile and flexible. So I do want to wrap up and say I'm incredibly proud and privileged to be standing here today, incredibly proud of my time both as KTP Programme Manager, but more importantly just being associated with KTP. I, like everyone else, are looking forward to the next 50 years. I certainly won't be around in another 50 years' time, so I really do hope the programme is, and I certainly hope to make it maybe it's 85 or 90 years old and still maybe come to one of these in 35 years' time or so, 30 years' time or so. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for all your hard work, all your passion, all your support. And now I want to, before we begin into the awards, we have a video message from Tom Adiola, Innovate UK Executive Chair, who unfortunately couldn't be with us in person today. So, QVT.
Good evening and welcome to the KTP Awards. I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight on what is a momentous occasion celebrating over 50 years of delivering incredible value in terms of over 14,000 projects, 2.3 billion pounds worth of impact for the entire country. I believe that the KTP's success and longevity has been down to its simplicity. It works on the basis of a three-way partnership of universities, industry, and associates, the community all coming together. And currently today, we have more than 800 active partnerships involving over 100 research institutions and more than 800 associates, delivering projects that cover the breadth of everything from sustainable dairy production through to improving and innovating in cleaning technology. By coming together and bringing all parts of the economy and communities, I believe that KTP will continue to drive incredible value to the UK economy that will enhance economic growth and the health and well-being of the UK for the next 50 years to come. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
We now come to our first award of the evening, the Future Leader Award. This award recognises the achievements and growth of KTP Associates during their projects, not only in their technical development, but also in developing their leadership and management skills. Their actions have transformed the culture of their companies. These are individuals of talent and potential, the innovators and leaders of the future. This year, there are 4 winners in this category. And to present this award, I would now like to invite to the stage Joel Ferguson, Senior Knowledge Transfer Advisor, Northern Ireland, Innovate UK Business Connect, and Dr. Serena Broadway, Senior Knowledge Transfer Advisor, East of Scotland, Innovate UK Business Connect. Thank you. I need... Let's have a look at the list of finalists. Well done to all of those. Joel and Serena, will you reveal the winners, please?
Sure. So we had more than 120 really strong applications for the Future Leaders Award this year, which is incredible. So I just want to say before I read out the names to the 10 people that have made the shortlist, you've done incredibly well to get to this stage and you should be really proud of what you've achieved. So well done and good luck. So our winners are Charlotte Rose Kennedy from Birmingham City University and Renato Software Limited. Raymond Holder, University of the West of Scotland and Smartify Holdings. Shay McAvoy, Queen's University Belfast and AB Pneumatics. Simeon Skopalik, University of Glasgow and Soapworks. And Usama Jamil, Kingston University and Ashtead Engineering Company Limited.
Here, we'll take your photograph. There are five winners? Yeah. Okay, turn sideways, folks, so you can squeeze in. Well, look at that. We even had an extra winner. Thank you, Joel Ferguson and Dr. Serena Broadway, for that. And thank you, Charlie, for the photographs. Now, before we announce our next award, I'd like to welcome Joe Griffiths, Head of Funding Support and KTP, Leeds Beckett University, and Rosie Newman, Funding Support Manager, Leeds Beckett University, who are going to tell us a bit more about the KTP National Forum and its work.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak about my experience as a member of the National Forum. I'm proud to represent Yorkshire and Humber region, obviously the best region in the UK, a role I've held for just under 3 years. The KTP National Forum mission is simple, all for the good of KTP. We act as the collective voice of the knowledge-based partners in order to influence strategic direction and take-up of KTP to develop and share best practice knowledge transfer for the benefit of all stakeholders. My experience as a member of the National Forum has been really positive and interesting. Our focus is always to ensure our national programme remains aligned, proactive and continuously improving. We bring lots to the table. We're a group of people who are invested in ensuring that KTP is impactful, collaborative and forward-thinking. We are ably steered by our Chair, Sophie O'Callaghan, and Vice Chair, Carl Ward. And quite honestly, I don't know what we would do without Lorraine Marks as our Secretary. And we can't, of course, operate without the support of Richard Lamb, with whom we can discuss both operational and strategic directions, and we appreciate the fact that he listens to our challenges, responds to our questions, and encourages us to bring our ideas. We also appreciate Ian Blakemore, who is currently representing the KTA community on the forum. It's safe to say we're a pretty lively and proactive group. After all, we represent over 800 live projects, 40 KTAs, 120 knowledge bases, countless academics, and of course our KTP businesses. No two projects are the same, as I think most of us in this room know, and we operate in a constantly evolving landscape across higher education and industry. A key part of our agenda this year has been to support these prestigious awards for KTP at 50. And it's a moment to celebrate and honour the legacy and future of KTP. While often we focus on challenges and areas for improvement, we should also celebrate the wealth of experience, ideas and best practices that each of us brings to the table. That's what makes KTP so unique, and in its 50th year, that spirit of collaboration and innovation is stronger than ever. Thank you.
So I am not a member of the National Forum, I should add. I've not yet had that privilege. But last year, Leeds Beckett were the lucky recipients, the massive privilege of receiving the KTP Team of the Year award. And we're so pleased and delighted, aren't we, to be able to pass that baton on this year. Internally and externally for us, it was a huge milestone, and we've had a fabulous year raising the profile of KTP further, and we'll continue to do so. True to the spirit and ethos of KTP, we've shared our knowledge with a wide range of universities. We've enjoyed talking to you, talking about what we do and how you might do it, and as ever, we've continued to learn things along the way. I've been hugely privileged to be involved in the international dissemination of the KTP model, and I'm delighted that some of those colleagues that we've been working with this year are attending the conference, and we'll hear more from our community. And KTP at 50, of course, has been an amazing platform. Through our social media campaign, which some of you will see with our 50 posts for 50 years, we've really tried to encompass the breadth of what KTP means to us as an institution. So tonight, we're really honoured to pass the baton on to another brilliant university.
Thank you both very much. Well, it's time for our next award, the Best Knowledge-Based Support Team. This award celebrates a high-performing group that has been consistently proactive and innovative, making the most of every opportunity offered by the KTP programme. It honours the university teams who support, deliver and drive KTPs from their institutions. So let's take a look at the finalists for this award.
At the University of Essex, we view KTP as a central pillar of our knowledge exchange and commercial collaboration activities, as well as producing invaluable opportunities for our academic colleagues to create meaningful publications and deliver impact through their research. It's also an opportunity for the university to have an impact on the commercial environment around us and deliver value to our local community. In 2024, we set ourselves the challenge of reaching 50 live KTPs in the 50th year of the programme in 2025. We're delighted that we've managed to achieve that with 12 months of sustained hard work from our entire business engagement team. And now the next step is for us to continue to maintain that level for as long as possible. Amid a fairly challenging time for the HE sector in general, KTP continues to be a valuable and reliable way for UK universities to impact the national innovation system. At Essex, our projects are helping to develop AI solutions for identifying skin cancer, improving crop yields through agricultural partnerships, and transforming the futures of SMEs up and down the country.
Knowledge exchange and the knowledge transfer partnerships, or KTPs, are a critical part of the Aston 2030 strategy because we're committed to helping businesses thrive and grow. Independent analysis shows that businesses that participate in an Aston KTP are generating an extra 250 million in profit and close to £1 billion in increase in turnover. In order to scale the number of KTPs that we can support, we're now working with Innovate UK Business Growth, with the Manufacturing Technology Centre, with Make UK, and with the Greater Birmingham Chamber of Commerce. Together, as an ecosystem, we're driving prosperity for Birmingham and the West Midlands.
We're a shared service promoting KTP in multiple institutions. Each one is different, so we take time to understand their people and systems, making sure projects run smoothly and deliver impact. We offer the same hands-on support whether they have 1 KTP or 30. Our team manages 40 projects, working with 20 KTAs and a wide range of university stakeholders. Our aim is to be best in class for all aspects of KTP support. We work closely with the KTP community, sharing ideas and best practice across Scotland and the UK. We're always looking to innovate, The Strathclyde Women in KTP initiative is one of many steps taken this year to increase engagement, particularly with underrepresented groups. We're proud of the work we do and excited about what's next.
Jo and Rosie, please could you present the award?
Okay. The judges noted this excellent example of team working in practice was particularly noteworthy for having a stretch target that was then realised by a highly innovative and committed team. The winner is the University of Essex.
Thank you, Jo Griffiths and Rosie Newman. Now it's time for our first partnership award of the evening, the Business Transformation Award. KTP prides itself not only on fostering associates who complete innovative projects, but also on driving meaningful change in businesses, creating new capabilities, opening up commercial opportunities, and contributing to the UK economy's wealth and prosperity. This award recognizes a partnership that has consistently demonstrated outstanding impact. By transforming commercial outlooks and leveraging academic knowledge to deepen expertise, companies can expand their capabilities and seize new market opportunities. Let's take a look at the finalists for this award.
Our innovation focus combined both product and process innovation. We embedded advanced liposomal formulation technology, giving the company the capacities to design, validate, innovate, and scale nutraceutical products entirely in-house. The main challenge was the heavy reliance on external providers for these services. Through the KTP, we built in-house expertise, established production and analytical facilities, and trained the team to use them effectively. We launched a new world-class nutraceutical products and created GM Priority Pharma, a spin-out that's become now a world-leading pharmaceutical manufacturer. The impact has been faster time to market, reduced cost, job creation, and a strong R&D basis. The key benefits is capacity, speed, cost efficiency, and sustainable innovation, all position the business for long-term growth.
I'm Liam from 3 Dental, and we're a digital orthodontic lab based in the North East. We've recently completed fantastic KTP with Northumbria University. It's helped us revolutionise our business. The problem was that we were growing too quickly and we weren't able to sustain that growth because we were using manual workflows. The KTP came in and we were able to automate those workflows using AI and digital transformation. The output of this was that our turnover increased by 400%. We increased our staff from 14 to 27 members, and we were able to bring on an extra 500 new customers, with 60% of these being NHS based. The KTP was a game changer. It helped bring in digital skills, knowledge and confidence within the business, and it wouldn't have been possible to do these things without the KTP.
The innovation focus for the management KTP was quite a holistic approach, looking for overall business agility, digital adoption, digital transformation. Well, the big challenge we faced was, we were actually during COVID, and we obviously were looking to the long-term future of the business and what that would look like. And we thought the margins that would be available were going to shrink and that productivity would be key. Since the management KTP, Dunsters Farm has transformed the way we operate. We run projects so that we can move quicker, we look at data better, we analyse analyze the data and we can more quickly come to decisions and progress.
The benefits of the KTP project have been both financial as well as commercial. We have, of course, won a large public sector contract worth 42 million over the next 6 years. We have increased our turnover. We acquired a new business.
We really feel now future fit as a business. We've embedded strategic analysis and strategic thinking into our decision-making processes. The Management KTP has helped us establish ourselves as a pioneering innovator in our sector.
Fran McIntyre, Managing Director, Innovate UK Business Connect.
So it was the realisation of the transformation potential of this partnership that impressed the KTP judges most. This was a KTP that exceeded all initial objectives and ambitions and achieved something remarkable. The winner is Anglia Ruskin University and Detox People Limited.
Thank you, Fran McIntyre. Now I would like to welcome to the stage Richard Lamb, KTP Programme Manager, Innovate UK.
Thank you, Susanna. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's a real privilege to be here to celebrate the remarkable achievements of KTP, especially in our 50th year. These awards celebrate the amazing achievements of our projects, but there's a huge team behind the scenes that support the KTP programme. And, as dictated by tradition, it's part of my role tonight to make sure I can celebrate as many of them as I can, because without you, the programme would just not work. So here we go. Sheila, Helen, Dan, Frank in our claims team, Lucy Normington, who supports each and every competition, ably supported by Nicola Cunningham, Dawn Manser, Ashley Hamill in our operations team, Jamie Brooks and Hayley Lewis for keeping an eye on our budget, Lucy Thomas for listening, Ian Brotherston and Dave Wilkes, thank you both for your support and for being here today, Steve Welsh for always being there, Fran McIntyre for your quietly guiding hand, all the knowledge transfer advisors, past and present. You remain the beating heart of this programme. A special thanks to Julia Bottomley, who yet again has persevered through a huge amount of change this year. And I want to thank her for ensuring that we always strive to make KTP the best we can. To our final report assessors, who I'm thrilled we've got some in the room tonight, who play such an important yet hidden role in our process. And of course to the National Forum for supporting the programme, and to all of you at the Knowledge Bases, a huge thank you for supporting KTP and each other. To our training partners, Ashbourne Hill, congratulations on another 5 years and for doing what you do so well with all of our associates. To Jess, Lucia, our friends and colleagues at Innovate UK Business Connect, including the team that's pulled together today's event. That's Mike, Jordan, Zane, Alex and Sathara. Thank you all for all the work that you put into tonight. A special mention as well to Jim Berryman for all of his work this year, helping with the awards, but also the Gold Awards, which we will reveal to those of you staying for tomorrow. And Katerina for keeping us all in line, making sure our meetings run to time. Whether you've been mentioned or not, know that together we have shaped 50 years of innovation and hold in our hands the future of this programme. Thank you all for being part of the incredible KTP family, and I'd like you to give yourselves a massive round of applause. Thank you. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I was reflecting on what gets me out of bed every morning to do this job. And I was listening to one of my regular podcasts, The Stoic Coffee Break, where the discussion turned to mental toughness. And after the events of the last few weeks, which have impacted us all, I felt that this subject resonated very strongly with me. Now, I think it's Susanna's influence. Every speaker seems to be mentioning a bit of history. I've gone back to Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, who once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This timeless wisdom reminds us that mental toughness isn't about controlling chaos around us, it's about mastering the chaos within. It's not about suppressing emotion, but navigating emotion. So navigating emotion, strength, and rationality. It's about emerging from adversity, stronger, wiser, and more resilient. There are apparently 5 elements to mental toughness. The first one is persistence. Persistence over talent. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You just have to be the one that refuses to quit. Persistence beats talent every time. And when you stay in the game long enough, you learn the lessons that talent alone can't teach. After 50 years, we know about resilience. And collectively, we know how to navigate the occasional bump in the road. 2, failure is just feedback. When inventing the light bulb, Thomas Edison said, "I've not failed, I found 10,000 ways that don't work." Mental toughness means seeing every loss as a lesson, not a life sentence. And that's why even in the current turmoil caused by the reframing of Innovate strategy, I don't see it as a failure, but I see it as a lesson I can learn to ensure the longevity of future funding for the programme. 3, self-discipline. Mental toughness is built in the quiet, boring moments of our lives. It's making time to go for a run. It's making your partner a cup of tea every morning. It's choosing to do the right thing, not the easy thing. Champions, like KTP, are not made in the grand gestures. They are made in the daily grind. And we all turn up every day to try and make KTP the best programme that it can be. That's self-discipline. That's mental toughness. 4, belief in the big picture. We all need a reason that's bigger than the discomfort we're currently facing. Your why gives you strength. Why do I love KTP? Because it's got the potential to do amazing things for our partners and for all the lives that it touches. And that's a pretty strong why for me. And I hope it's a strong why for you too. And then finally, number 5, keep moving forwards. Mental toughness doesn't require dramatic change. It requires you to keep moving forwards. Put one foot in front of the other in the sure and certain knowledge that tomorrow can be a better day. Try and step outside your comfort zone in a little way every single day. And that's it. In the last 50 years, KTP has continually embraced change, and managing change requires mental toughness. But we, you, are not alone. We are the KTP family. And whilst we may not always agree with each other, together we can overcome any challenge and come out the other side a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little more resilient. So even if you're not feeling mentally tough today, and I can tell you there are days when I definitely don't, know that there are people out there that you can lean on. You can lean on me, you can lean on your colleagues here in this room and across the KTP community, because being part of this family is truly amazing. And here's my truth. I try to stay strong because I genuinely believe in the power of KTP, the power to make a difference, the power to bring people together, and the power to shape the future, one partnership, one problem, one person at a time. And that's why I get out of bed every morning. I hope that's why you do too. Thank you. I really am passionate about KTP, as I hope you know. And I'm here as well to present the award for Best African Agriculture Project. And if you ever wanted to see the power of making a difference and the power of bringing people together and shaping the future, you've no need to look any further than this award. And here are the nominations.
The title of our project is Data-Enabled Innovations for the Enhancement of Health, Welfare and Productivity of Broiler Chickens in Southwest Nigeria. The cardinal objective of the project is applying digital technologies and data-enabled innovations for creating viable, profitable and sustainable broiler chicken enterprises. The challenges addressed include high chicken mortality, slow growth rate, as well as high production costs, among other challenges. Project outcomes include the deployment of IoT platforms as well as multiple dashboards and databases as part of a game-changing strategy for efficient broiler chicken production. Finally, for project impact, we have from the perspective of the company, Taro Agric Farm, we have the pioneering deployment of digital technologies with significant improvement in performance and profit margins. For the partnering institution, the focus is on capacity building for data-enabled innovations for the overall enhancement for highly efficient broiler production systems and value chains.
So, to announce the winner of the Best African Agricultural Project, please welcome to the stage Knowledge Transfer Advisor and International Lead, John Clayton, to join Richard Lamb.
Well, good afternoon. In the spirit of recognizing partnership, I should also say that I've had the pleasure of leading the internationalization of KTP with fantastic help from my colleagues. So I've led on Ghana for AAKTP with Geraint Jones. Joel Ferguson, again with Geraint, has led on Kenya, AAKTPs. Jerry O'Hagan on South Africa. And last but certainly not least, Ken Frame on Nigeria. So let me announce the winner. This highly successful partnership is a great example of just how transformative it can be when you combine the right people with the right motivation and the right skills to do something really special. This project has created a model for sustainable agribusiness in Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. So congratulations to the winner, University of West of England, Obafemi Awolowo University, and Taro Agric Consulting.
Thank you, John Clayton and Richard Lamb. The KTP Academic of the Year Award recognizes the outstanding contribution made to KTP by a member of academic staff and the role that they have had in influencing the uptake of KTP throughout their institution. Let's take a look at the finalists for this award.
Spending your life savings on a home, enacting a will, or fighting for justice in some of the most heinous circumstances a person can face. Legal services guide us through these challenges, and within this partnership, we combine psychological and computer sciences to pioneer an individualized approach to lawyer-client relations, creating bespoke tools to identify clients' communication preferences and AI emotion detection systems to guide lawyers when working with clients in particularly emotive situations. In doing so, we develop lawyer skills, improved efficiency and profits, created new roles, and a compelling competitive advantage crucial to rapid business growth. We also tested and refined some of my theories in this high-stakes environment. True to mission, a genuine partnership that developed and transferred knowledge in both directions. Thank you.
I'm Chris Sanguine from the School of Mathematics at the University of Edinburgh, and our knowledge transfer partnership involved online assessment of mathematics. So that is developing software that gives students automatic feedback to their mathematical work. And the challenge we faced is how to better support mathematical proof. So let me give you an example of what we've developed as part of this project. In particular, we have developed better tools for drag and drop proof. So here a student is dragging lines to create a proof, and the software will automatically generate some feedback showing what they've done wrong. So pre-existing research has shown how effective this sort of feedback will be, and the real benefit of this project was having an associate who could take that pre-existing research, develop the software, and then really use it with stakeholders in universities and in developing countries.
Hello, I'm Firdaus, a senior lecturer in electrical power engineering at Glasgow Caledonian University. Our KTP with TNAI Services Limited focus on business innovation, specifically updating IPSA, their flagship software tool, which has supported the power systems industry for over 50 years. The updated software tool helps us plan local electricity networks more accurately, especially as we see new technologies like wind, solar, and electrical vehicles integrating into the power networks. The main challenge was uncertainty of these new technologies. Imagine a cloud cover over a solar farm and the generation goes to almost zero in a matter of minutes. Our new tool handled uncertainty using probabilistic modeling. This project has led to major outcomes, including a paper accepted in topmost journal of power systems and other 2 papers accepted in international conferences. Further, it has opened doors for future collaborations. Thanks for your consideration.
To present this award, I would now like to invite to the stage Dr. Sandeep Sadhu, Executive Director, Global Investment and Insights, Innovate UK Business Connect.
Good evening, everyone. So this award goes to an academic who clearly went above and beyond in terms of commitment to their KTP project, an associate. What most impressed the judging panel was the genuine emotion and respect conveyed in the nomination. The winner is Firdaus Nazir, University of Glasgow.
Good evening, everyone. I am so honored to be on the stage and having won this award. This is a truly remarkable phase in my academic career. I want to thank the Innovate UK, the panel of judges, who has given me this opportunity to stand up here and speak. I've been very fortunate to being surrounded by an excellent group of people who has made this award possible, be it my great KTP Associate, be it the university where there are so many supportive people, Glasgow Caledonian University, be it the KTP West of Scotland Centre. I also want to thank my parents, Nazir Ahmad and Zainab Bano, whose unwavering support and belief in me have shaped whatever I do. I want to thank my wife and my kid, whose motivation keeps me humbled and motivated. Finally, this KTP is a great example of how academic input can lead to positive impact and change for an established business like ours, TNAI Services Limited. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we've got the Technical Excellence Awards. This award recognizes partnerships that have demonstrated excellence in the application of engineering skills, interpreted in the broadest sense, to recognize the continuing evolution of this field. Let's take a look at the finalists.
Our KTP project focused on developing ground truth, an innovative digital twin system for buried water pipes. It combines artificial intelligence, finite elements modeling, and real-time sensor data to revolutionize how water utilities manage their underground assets. The challenge was clear. Buried pipes are hidden, the failure mechanisms are complex, and traditional assessment methods are reactive, costly, and often inaccurate. We needed a system that could understand how these pipes behave under changing conditions and enable proactive maintenance. The result was ground truth, a living learning model that updates continuously with sensor input. It allows engineers to view real-time pipe conditions, visualize stress and strain, predict likely failure zones, and schedule maintenance based on actual need, not assumptions. Utilities can now make confident, data-driven decisions, reduce unplanned repairs, and better understand how soil and pipe interact over time. Key benefits include lower maintenance costs, longer asset life, fewer service disruptions, and better alignment with smart city goals, all while reducing leakage, contamination, and carbon footprint of asset management.
We were aiming to develop a wet wipe that was both antibacterial and biodegradable. So that's quite a scientific challenge, and bringing together many different aspects of research to do that.
The two main technical challenges that I would say with this particular project were firstly understanding the materials aspects and the biological aspects of the new products we were developing. The second technical challenge that I would say within the project was more about embedding some niche testing apparatus, part of the regulatory standard, but not widely used because it's a very niche area.
I'm especially proud that I achieved our goal by developing plastic-free effective wet wipe. It wasn't easy, but we overcome the challenges and create a sustainable product that can make the real difference to public health.
Within the NHS, there's an upcoming tender worth £150 million that we'll be submitting this plastic-free wipe for.
The KTP has been a cornerstone of a 5-year growth plan, accelerating our pipeline, de-risking market entry, and future-proofing our IP.
Our project focused on process optimization, helping soapworks overcome production challenges related to their product line of Syndet cleansing bars. The challenge came from the fact that Syndets are trickier to produce and far more sensitive to processing conditions compared to traditional soap, and despite the company's experience in soap making, they lacked the scientific expertise to overcome these new challenges. We developed a data-driven solution and deployed it using custom software that analyzes production data and rheological measurements and outputs the optimal processing conditions for any of the company's products. Crucially, in the process, we also made the groundbreaking discovery of a novel broadband rheology technique, and currently Soapworks is patenting this new technology. As a result of the KTP, the company extended their data analysis capability, dramatically increased the production capacities for Syndet, reduced reduced energy use, and acquired valuable intellectual property.
To present this award, I would now like to invite to the stage Dr. Steve Welsh, Executive Director, Place, Skills and Knowledge Transfer at Innovate UK Business Connect.
Thank you. So thank you. People who know me and know my background will guess that the Technical Excellence Award is particularly dear to my heart. I can also tell you I was glad I wasn't on the judging panel for this, because as with all of the awards, the standard is really high. So all of the finalists in every category have done themselves proud here, and I share in the pride in being involved in this amazing program. So I'm glad I wasn't on the judging panel, but the judging panel have made a decision, and they decided that the winner in this category was a particularly excellent example of KTP in action, with really strong evidence for everyone involved, and with a partnership delivering on the wow factor. And the winner is the University of Glasgow and Soapworks Limited.
Thank you, Dr. Steve Welsh. The second partnership award of the evening is the Changing the World Award. This award highlights projects that support society and our way of living by delivering broader environmental benefits, including progress towards net zero and reductions in carbon emissions. It recognizes the wider impact of KTP projects that have made significant contributions to societal improvement for communities and for society at large. Let's take a look at the finalists for this award.
Skin cancer is a global problem, with a rising cancer incidence and international shortages of dermatologists. So our challenge was to build a skin cancer AI model to streamline and accelerate skin cancer diagnosis, using almost 80,000 images and associated clinical metadata from our teledermatology pathway. The AI model outperforms published results compared to experienced dermatologists, and a recent study showed that almost half of the images could be reassured without a human report. Both parties have benefited from this collaboration, with publications in high-impact journals such as Nature Scientific Reports, the university enhancing its reputation for education and research, and the company having a product now to commercialise and with a patent pending. So it has been a win-win for both parties.
Challenge was that the Scottish skills employability market moved from a contracted arrangement to a localised collaborative commissioning model, providing routes to work the opportunity to measure and celebrate the impact of employability interventions, capturing those intangible outcomes during the client journey. We wanted to design an evidence-based assessment of our economic and societal impact, which enhanced our service innovation and delivery and overall improved our client outcomes. We grew in size, staffing levels, turnover and geographical reach, enhanced our brand awareness and created a social value evaluation framework for use internally and also beyond. The KTP increased our turnover by £2.3 million, 83% growth and delivering in 3 new Scottish local authority areas. For every £1 invested in Routes to Work, it generates a social return on investment of £7.34. With this increased turnover and applying the SROI value, it equates to an additional £17 million impact into the Scottish economy. And finally, Investors in People Platinum was awarded to Routes to Work, one of only 14 charities worldwide to achieve such an accreditation, placing us in the top 0.5% of companies globally.
The innovation focus of our KTP was looking at entire business model. So we focused on sustainability strategy, social value element for tenders, leveraging the data to make efficient decision making.
The challenge we had was that we were in an increasingly consolidating landscape, but we also faced the challenge of incoming regulation in terms of sustainability and a lot of well-meaning regulation, but what's often very hard to comply with as an SME. The impacts of the MKTP at Dunsters Farm have been huge. In terms of social value, it's been the most satisfying thing out of everything really for me, and that has been that we have completely over-delivered on our targets and delivered over 5 million of social value. That included a 6-year contract worth over £40 million, won on the basis of our social value commitment and results. We feel that we've become a blueprint for how a family-run food service can actually become sustainable and profitable for the long term for the benefit of all involved.
To present this award, I would like to welcome back to the stage Dr. Ian Brotherston, Deputy Director, Innovation Funding Products at Innovate UK.
Need my glasses this time. The KTP judges were particularly impressed by the scale and breadth of deliverables realised and how much this project has demonstrated such impressive and significant commercial, societal and environmental impacts. I'm delighted to say the winner is Manchester Metropolitan University and Dunsters Farm.
Thank you to Dr. Ian Brotherston. Well, now it's time for me to talk to you. I was once a KTP Associate, though I have to say, amongst all of these amazing projects, I'm feeling slightly a phony. My KTP was a little different to most. We were based at Hampton Court Palace, and I was working in a partnership with Historic Royal Palaces and Kingston University. And my project was to craft a strategy for historical research to guide the creation of a new visitor experience in the Tudor Palace at Hampton Court. So the objectives were to drive visitor numbers up by 10% to increase income, to enhance the academic credibility of the palace, and to produce a cultural shift in the organisation towards seeing research as integral to the success of the institution. Well, we won the 2011 AHRC-sponsored KTP Award because we over-delivered on every measure. Just here's one of them. Visitor numbers increased by 43% year on year. And for me personally, the KTP has been the foundation of my subsequent career. But I'm boasting about this today because I want you to know that I recognize both quite how daunting and what an achievement it is to be a KTP associate. It takes courage and ambition and determination. It takes strategic lateral thinking. It often involves quite a lot of managing up. So I want to celebrate the role of the associate by conjuring a few images. Being a KTP associate is a little bit like being a bridge. KTP is all about having an idea and bringing it to fruition. It's about bridging the gap between strategic ambition or aspiration and tangible innovation. Let us imagine them to be two countries, one called academia and one called industria. Now, of course, there is aspiration in industria and innovation in academia, but for the purpose of this image, the KTP Associate is the bridge between these two lands, stretching from one to the other. This, of course, takes tensile strength, stretching, holding the tension between these two different cultures. Being a KTP Associate, though, it's also rather like being an ambassador to a foreign realm. It makes me, ever the 16th century historian, think of the English ambassador to Muscovy, Captain Richard Chancellor, who in 1553 voyaged to the White Sea before traveling across land to Moscow, to the court of Ivan the Terrible, to establish trading rights between England and Russia. I read a chapter last week called The Muscovy Company as a Knowledge Network. Venturing into industria is entering unfamiliar terrain, seeking to prove that the mission you are on is worthwhile and trying to bring about change. The 16th century English managed this pretty well. In 1555, they established the Muscovy Company, the first major chartered joint stock company in history, which had a monopoly on trade for over 140 years and survived as a trading company until the Russian Revolution. That's the definition of an enduring legacy. But a KTP Associate is also something like a wizard. A key part of a KTP is that it does something disproportionately powerful to the amount of time the project lasts. It transfigures or transmutes or transforms so profoundly that it has a lasting legacy and effect. And much of that depends on the person of the associate, that unique intersection that they're at to build a system that outlasts their tenure. But I think we could say that too many associates believe that, like an ambassador or a wizard, they are bound by a diplomatic omerta or the silence of the magic circle. They don't recognize that KTP is a sort of magic that can be made deeper and more powerful with one trick. There's one other thing I think associates also need to be, and that is a translator. As Baroness Greenfield exemplifies so well, we need to be able to speak about our work and to communicate why it matters, and not just to the populations of academia and industria. As successful KTP Associates, you already have mastered the art of speaking the lingo of the people on both sides of that channel, even though you may not know it. But for our work to have truly lasting effects, we have to be prepared to explain the value of that work to people of a third nation, the masses. The mother tongue of academia and industria are dialects of a language known to the masses as jargon. And the masses don't speak jargon, so we have to learn their language. This isn't just for their benefit, but for ours. This year not only marks 50 years of KTPs, it marks 75 years since the publication of one of my favorite fairy tales. Despite what the cover says, I say fairy tale, not children's story advisedly, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And so on this very flimsy pretext of topicalism, and because I think it's worth your time, I'm going to share with you what C.S. Lewis had to say about speaking in this foreign tongue. Long before he wrote about Narnia, during the Second World War, Lewis gave talks to the RAF. And he recalled this later as a salutary experience in learning how to direct himself to a new sort of audience. He wrote, "I have come to the conviction that if you cannot translate your thoughts into uneducated language, then your thoughts were confused. Power to translate is the test of having really understood one's own meaning." Speaking jargon, we can hide our own ignorance. For example, for his wartime radio broadcast for the BBC, Lewis was once asked by his producer to explain the workings of an organism. He wrote back, "I could do it for a Bampton lecture, but this damn colloquial style is so intrinsically honest that I can't conceal in it my ignorance of what really does happen in an organism." To speak to the natives of the masses, we have to know precisely what it is we're talking about, And as we attempt to translate it, we may discover that we don't know it quite as well as we thought. So does Lewis have any tips to offer KTP Associates who realize that they need to help other people understand the scale of their achievement and the value of their work? Happily, yes. Although he wrote them to an American girl called Joan in 1956, he could have had some KTP Associates approaching 2026 in mind. He says, always try to use language so as to make quite clear what you mean and to make sure your sentence couldn't mean anything else. Always prefer the plain, direct word to the long, vague one. Don't say implement promises, but keep them. I'd add, don't utilize something when you could use it. And never use abstract nouns when concrete ones will do. If you mean more people died, don't say mortality rose. As a KTP associate, I went from writing my 100,000-word doctoral thesis fluently in jargon to having to write 60-word painting labels coherently in the mother tongue of the masses. You'll hear some scorn about this shift in communication. People refer to it often as dumbing down. But I want to argue today that it's actually rather more like a boiling down. When we boil something down, we get to the real essence of the thing. It's putting our work into a crucible so that what we pour out is knowledge of exactly what we want to say and how to say exactly that. KTP Associates are naturally curious. Be curious about how you might be better understood. And when we do that, when we take everything we have learned as associates, every connection we've made, every alliance we've forged, every system and product and outcome we've created, and then we make them available to achieve better results for ourselves, our companies, and ultimately, I think, we achieve more good for the world. And now we're going to be thinking about a partnership that has done just that. This is the final part of the evening, and the one that everyone has been waiting for. Who will win the best KTP partnership of 2025? As I mentioned at the start, KTP is all about partnerships, collaboration, and people. For a KTP to be truly successful, it must benefit all three areas: the business, the knowledge base, and the associate. If it only benefits one, then it's not a great KTP. This award recognizes partnerships where all three participants have seen exemplary benefits. In other words, it honors the 2025 partnership that has delivered the greatest benefits to all parties, exceeded the expectations set out in the KTP proposal, and best exemplifies innovation through collaboration. This partnership captures the very essence of what KTP is all about. Let's take a look at the finalists for this prestigious award.
The construction material sector is high risk, with fatality rates above average. Holcim recognised that traditional safety management approaches were reactive. We developed and embedded the Safety Voice Toolkit, a proactive approach now used across the business to drive cultural change from the ground up.
The impact has been significant, exceeding expectations, with a projected £6 million in cost savings by 2027. The toolkit included the deployment of innovative, research-backed eye tracking and sleep monitoring technologies. The project has gained attention at industry level, establishing Holcim as a thought leader in health and safety and helping the business secure additional contracts where a robust safety record is heavily weighted in the tendering process.
We were delighted to offer Laura a permanent role, and she was named Young Safety Leader of the Year by the MPA and selected for Holcim's Rising Stars programme for her passion, commitment and confidence in engaging colleagues to embed solutions across the organisation. Ultimately, the KTP has been pivotal in keeping Holcim staff safe and avoiding fatalities in a complex, safety-critical environment.
Challenge was that the Scottish skills employability market moved from a contracted arrangement to a localised collaborative commissioning model, providing routes to work the opportunity to measure and celebrate the impact of employability interventions, capturing those intangible outcomes during the client journey. We wanted to design an evidence-based assessment of our economic and societal impact, which enhanced our service innovation and delivery and overall improved our client outcomes. We grew in size, staffing levels, turnover and geographical reach, enhanced our brand awareness and created a social value evaluation framework for use internally and also beyond. The KTP increased our turnover by £2.3 million, 83% growth and delivering in 3 new Scottish local authority areas. For every £1 invested in Routes to Work, it generates a social return on investment of £7.34. With this increased turnover and applying the SROI value, it equates to an additional £17 million impact into the Scottish economy. And finally, Investors in People Platinum was awarded to Routes to Work, one of only 14 charities worldwide to achieve such an accreditation, placing us in the top 0.5% of companies globally.
Our KTP aim was to deliver process innovations focused on optimizing the use of milk components in the manufacture of yogurt using the latest science and technology. In the project, key improvements were identified and scaled. In particular, milk protein denaturation and gel formation were modelled. Their subsequent optimization improved the structure of yogurts. Along the way, we supported 6 student projects. The project optimized milk utilization by twice the anticipated amount, contributing even further to the financial and environmental sustainability of Yeo Valley. The innovation delivered is supporting Yeo Valley to remain proudly independent, ensuring internal profitability and delivering value to our customers. The projects bolstered the university's teaching and learning, improving placement and graduate employment opportunities, and it's fast-tracked my career far quicker than I would otherwise expected.
Wow. Okay, to present this award, I would now like to invite to the stage Dr. Dave Wilkes, Director, Innovation Ecosystem, Innovate UK.
Good evening, everyone. And of course, there is no such thing as a best KTP because they are all so amazing in their own way. Having said that, this KTP was selected because the partnership exceeded all targets with great outcomes for everyone involved. And as a resident of Reading, I am delighted to announce that the University of Reading and Yeo Valley Farms have won this year's Best KTP.
Well done, and thank you to Dr. Dave Wilkes. So as we celebrate 50 years, 5 decades of KTP, that concludes the KTP Awards 2025. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we've heard about some incredible projects. It's been truly impressive to see the wide range of partnerships that make up our KTP community. I'm sure you will agree with me, Innovate UK KTP is an amazing program. It brings together remarkable people to create fantastic positive outcomes. We've heard about partnerships with large and small companies, commercial projects, projects with not-for-profit organizations, both technical and non-technical projects. And all these businesses have worked alongside our world-leading UK knowledge base and talented associates to develop new capabilities, expand their businesses, and make a meaningful impact on society. I hope you've enjoyed learning about the fantastic achievements of our KTP finalists and leaders as much as I have. Their achievements are truly something to be proud of. I'm very proud of KTP2. It's a program that shows what can be achieved through collaboration and partnership. At the heart, as you've heard throughout, it's all about people. Remarkable, committed, creative individuals with brilliant stories. I'm sure you've got lots of questions to ask those who've won. There's so much to learn from these award-winning KTPs and the program as a whole. So I'd like to invite you to join me for a reception, to enjoy a drink, to continue the celebrations, to talk to the KTP teams, to meet the finalists and winners, and to hear more about their projects. I hope you leave inspired and excited by what you've heard today. And finally, thank you to every one of you for attending. And above all, thank you so much to those who worked so hard backstage to make this evening possible and for all the planning that has gone into the awards. Have a wonderful evening.